Hi guys, it's Haku Taku here, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys on the topic of spiritual marriages. And it is hot as shit, and the air is fucking still. I typed it up on a memo on my computer, so I'm going to go ahead and read it right now, okay? So, spiritual marriage is when you enter a divine partnership with a spirit, deity, or a higher being. It could be any type of spirit. It could be an angel, a demon, it could be a fucking fairy. You can enter this spiritual marriage. And spiritual marriages have been around for quite a long time. Even Christians have practiced forms of spiritual marriage, such as people who say that they are married to Jesus, or saying that they're married to God, like nuns who basically devote themselves to God. There are even people in the Christian faith who consider themselves married to certain archangels. I believe that there are some people who said that they were married to like Michael and Raphael and stuff like that. So it's been around for a very long time. It also says, like, as I was saying, the characteristics of a spiritual marriage is the same as a typical marriage, though it varies depending on the spirit that you are starting it with. For instance, some spirits are open to the polygamous relationship. Some spirits are fine with you having a relationship in the physical while you maintain a relationship with them in the spiritual manner, while others aren't that open because they're probably either just more jealous or they just want to just have a very closed relationship. And it's like I said, it's just like any other type of relationship. It's just that's the only difference. So when you want to enter a spiritual marriage, you should also look for the red flags as to any other typical marriage or any other typical relationship. So, for example, though some of the red flags that we'll consider like, oh, that's dangerous, will be different, varying on the culture of the spirit. For example, the Greeks often kidnap their brides, and that's how they used to marry. The Norse also practice this, though they do have like a more chill manner where they will actually seduce you and they'll actually talk to you and ask you if you're fine with being married to them, or they'll give you the marriage proposal and it's up to you to accept it. I do know, for an example, orc spirits also engage in battle over the hand of a partner. And many spirits, they don't have a specific taste when it comes to gender. Some of them are like, I only like men. Other like, I only like females. And others like, I don't care if you're a dragon or an ant spirit. I'll marry your ass. So there is that. The benefits that you can gain out of a spiritual marriage isn't too different that you would get in a pact. So let's say like you enter a pact with, I don't know, let's just use Amdusius is the only one that popped up in my head. You make a pact with him so that you can get better at playing a musical instrument. You can kind of use the same thing with a spiritual marriage, except you just have more stuff that you can do, and you're at a higher priority list for the spirit that you're in the marriage with. And you have a much more deeper, personal, and intimate relationship with said spirit. And they're also willing to teach you their culture and their practices a whole lot more, and they're also way more willing to unload information towards you that you'll usually not share with other people or share with, typical devotees or such like that. And so you get like special privileges out of the spiritual marriage, of course. And it also allows you to get known in the pantheon. So say that you became God's spouse to Hermes, for example. Well, Hermes is obviously going to talk about his brides or bride. Some of them do practice monogamy. Others, they don't practice monogamy. Hermes will talk to Apollo about his recent bride. Apollo hears about it. Apollo goes and speaks to their littlest brother, Dionysus. Dionysus now knows about you. So now already you got halfway spread across. And Hermes probably talks to you about Zeus. And Zeus talks to Hera. And now almost everyone knows about you at this point. So you'll get known in the pantheon, especially if you interact with them and you interact with the entire pantheon. And the downsides to it is just like with a typical marriage or any type of partnership, you can come into toxic ones. Some spirits can be manipulative, they can be liars, they can be pretenders, can be controlling. Sometimes it just might not work out, and you guys just probably aren't compatible. Some will use the marriage to control you and make you obey them and say, since you're married to me, you can't work with anyone else. Now that's a whole nother thing right there. A marriage shouldn't prevent you from working with anyone else or from being with anyone else. That's like a whole nother thing. That's if you're like oath bound. And even with the oath bound, unless it's a part of your guys' terms of agreement, you shouldn't be restrained from working with or worshiping any other beings or whatever the likes. So, as stated before, a spiritual marriage is kind of typical to a typical earth marriage. And do not ever believe any spirit that tells you once you enter this marriage, you cannot exit the marriage. Because you should always have the right to leave a marriage. And that's just another form of control that they're putting over you. So be smart and keep your brain, up there, up at the top. Also, not all spirits will immediately want to enter a marriage with you, but some will offer it, as I stated before. If you believe a spirit that you have recently met has proposed to you, take a step back, reject the offer, and if you're interested in starting the relationship with them, like you're interested in the marriage, you're not thinking about the gains, but you're thinking of, I like this entity. I vibe with them. Think about building the relationship from the ground up and then going through with it. Communicate with them and take things slow. And a lot of spirits, especially deities, know how humans enjoy the pride of being asked to be married to them. A lot of them know that how humans get, and to them it's kind of egotistical in a way. So make sure you think before, and some deities will take offense to you rejecting their proposal to marriage because they are like, I am a god, you are immortal, I am offering you marriage, how can you say no to me? So think about how you should go about dealing with it, and you shouldn't feel afraid to go to someone above said deity to get you help if the deity continues to push the proposal on you, because some will continue to push marriage upon you, because it's very typical for higher beings and higher spirits and higher powers to fall in love with people who are on the earth. It's happened throughout all history, throughout all religions, throughout all mythology. It just happens. And remember, think critically. And of course, I have been in spiritual marriages since I was 18. My very first spiritual marriage was with Hermes, and then I went from Hermes to Tyr, and then I went from Tyr to Aries, and from Aries, I believe I entered one with Odin. Odin was one of my longest standing ones, and now recently I entered one with Lucifer, and they all go pretty well. Some people will spend their entire lives in their spiritual marriage and they won't marry or interact with anyone else in the physical world. But it's up to you to speak to your spiritual partner about that topic. My spiritual partner, I spoke to him about it and he was perfectly fine with it. He was like, do whatever you want, I want you to be happy, yada yada yada, that type of stuff. So personally, a spiritual marriage can be superior to a physical marriage because they will go above and beyond, and they give love like how like no one else can really give love. Because even though that to them our relationship with them will be finite, but they don't really see us in such a fickle manner. Because when they fall in love, like they fall in love hard, and they're just like, I know I have such limited time with you, so they just like compact it a lot, and they really like they treat you special. Spiritual marriages can be very good and very sweet and loving and romantic if you enter a healthy one. And for the people, I know there will be people who will ask, well, what if I enter? Well, how would I know if I'm in a relationship with a parasite or something like that, or with someone that says that they're not? You will know you're in a marriage with someone if they say if they're not, if you constantly feel drained, if they're doing like toxic and cruel stuff to you. I will say that some of them, some deities can be abusive in a relationship, but you won't feel drained. Some can and will be abusive because there are so many deities, and that's one of another danger that I almost always warn people who speak to me about God spouse and stuff like that with. I always say, think about it before you want to enter onto that deeper level, because you're going to be seeing a side of them that everyone else will no longer, that no one else is seeing. You're going to be seeing something that you can't go to other people about and talk about, because not everyone is going to believe you, and that's the sad thing about it. So especially if it's like a really popular deity, so let's use Thor for example. Thor comes down, he's like, I want to marry you, and turns out Thor, on the flip side, is actually a controlling, manipulative, abusive deity in a relationship. And if you go, you feel trapped. So be careful, and it is possible for them to be that way. And if you get stuck in that type of relationship, it's okay for you to walk away and leave the relationship. You're gonna have to fight your way out, because a lot of them, they don't like losing that control. You're gonna have to fight your way out. What matters is that you get out of it. As I said, I've been in a lot of spiritual marriages, and the ones that I listed off were the ones that I accepted and initiated and was fine with. There are ones that I was forced into before. So be careful. Know your power. Stand in your power. Always stand in your power. And be yourself. So I hope you guys are staying safe in this quarantine. I guess quarantine, because I guess they're opening shit up now. Thank you guys for watching the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and to check down the links that I have below. I started a WordPress where I'm starting to document some of my experiences, so you can read some of my silly yet simple writings that I have. And you can check out my Instagram. Well, sometimes I'll just post pictures of myself, or I'll post stuff about my life. And if you just want to stay up to date with me and just see what I'm going through, Thank you once again, and stay safe, guys. Bye.